Tag init data. Boot underscore log equals, $debug equals false, main equals self, boot underscore init underscore time equals time.now, instance equals rand, 100,000. Hashtag begin, default underscore globals equals self dot global underscore variables, begin, default underscore constants equals main dot class dot constants, rescue, default underscore constants equals, end, default underscore methods equals self dot methods. Hashtag init underscore ruby underscore env equals default underscore globals default underscore constants default underscore methods, rescue, init underscore ruby underscore env equals error, end. Hashtag verify underscore file underscore. If file dot file, underscore file underscore, Rubin underscore core underscore file equals underscore file underscore. Else, raise boot error, underscore file underscore is invalid. End. Hashtag verify write underscore access. If file dot writable, dir dot get equals false, raise boot error, write access is not permitted. End. Hashtag detect debug underscore flag file. If file dot file, dir dot get plus slash debug dot flag, or file dot file, dir dot get plus slash data slash config slash debug dot flag, $debug equals true, end. Debug underscore flag equals $debug. Hashtag check host underscore os. If $debug equals true, puts checking system. End. If envos.downcase equals windows underscore nt and file dot directory, c:/windows. Host underscore os equals windows underscore nt, if $debug, print windows underscore nt detected. End. If file dot writable, c:/, if $debug, print full write access. End. Else if file dot writable, dir dot get if $debug, print limited write access, end. End. System, title Rubin system plus installation underscore header 2.2 underscore s plus instance dot 2 underscore s plus at plus env username dot 2 underscore s plus PID plus $$ dot 2 underscore s plus dir plus installation underscore header 1.2 underscore s. Hashtag else if file dot directory /home host underscore os equals Linux. If $debug, print Linux detected. End. Else host underscore os equals unknown. If $debug, print unknown host. End. End. Hashtag check host underscore ruby. If $debug, print ruby plus ruby underscore version dot 2 underscore s plus \n, end. Hashtag check host worker and make sure it's install directory, adjust installation underscore header if Rubin has been moved unexpectedly. If dir dot get dot 2 underscore s dot downcase equals installation underscore header 1.2 underscore s dot downcase. Boot underscore log worker is not install dir plus installation underscore header 1.2 underscore s. Hashtag the entire install directory has been unexpectedly moved. If file dot file, dir dot get plus slash system slash Rubin dot rb. Hashtag code to deal with 2 Rubins in the string. On Linux the path is the system path to storage then the drive name. New underscore homedir equals dir dot get path equals new underscore homedir plus slash system slash Rubin dot rb. Data equals file dot read, path. Header equals data dot split, \n, 0. Header equals header dot split, equals, -1. Header equals self dot instance underscore eval, header. Header 1 equals new underscore homedir. Header equals installation underscore header equals plus header dot 2 underscore s. And data equals header dot 2 underscore s plus \n plus data dot split, \n, 1-1 dot join, \n. F equals file dot open, path, w, f dot write, and data, f dot close. dir dot stir, new underscore homedir. $homedir equals new underscore homedir. Hashtag now we gotta restart. If $debug. Puts system install dir was recently moved and info had to be updated before startup. Puts restarting in 3 seconds. Sleep 3.0. End. System, start launch.rb. Sleep 0.2. Exit. Else. If $debug, puts boot cannot continue, installation not found, sleep 3.0, end, raise boot failed #exit. End. Else, $homedir equals dir dot get end. Hashtag boot check OK, start init. Boot underscore time equals time.now. Hashtag create global quarter links. $sister equals $homedir plus slash system hashtag Rubin system code. $upper equals $homedir plus slash app hashtag app installation files. $cluster equals $homedir plus slash class hashtag classes loaded with Ruby for redefinitions and adding features. $datator equals $homedir plus slash data hashtag general data directory. $updater equals $homedir plus slash data slash updata hashtag app store data here. $dir equals $homedir plus slash data slash config hashtag general config directory. $logdir equals $homedir plus slash data slash logs hashtag general log directory. $userdir equals $homedir plus slash data slash user hashtag. $binder equals $homedir plus slash bin hashtag for host executable files like interpreters and random x's. Boot underscore log time dot now dot 2 underscore s plus, boot success \n. F equals file dot open, $homedir plus slash boot log dot log, a, f dot write, boot underscore log -1, f dot close. If $debug, puts loading Rubin system. Version plus installation underscore header 2.2 underscore s, end. Class Rubin system. Version equals installation underscore header 2.2 underscore s hashtag last version upgrade March 1st, 2023. Def initialize. End. Def startup asterisk args hashtag alt config file. If defined, at post underscore initialization, return false, end. At shutdown equals false. At homedir equals $homedir. At sister equals at homedir plus slash system. At appdir equals at homedir plus slash app. At classdir equals at homedir plus slash class. At datadir equals at homedir plus slash data. At updater equals at homedir plus slash data slash updata. At configdir equals at homedir plus slash data slash config. At logdir equals at homedir plus slash data slash logs. At userdir equals at homedir plus slash data slash user. At binder equals at homedir plus slash bin. At app equals nil. At threads equals hashtag reserved for system to launch apps. At shell equals nil hashtag system shell is the component's class name, fix later. At demand equals nil hashtag reserved for main system thread pool. At definitions equals. At apps equals hashtag list of app objs and threads loaded. At cache equals hashtag hidden underscore internal underscore data 0 hashtag 0 is installed ers. At controller equals nil. At instance equals nil. At install equals nil. At host equals nil. At Ruby equals nil. At network equals nil. At components equals. At loaded underscore config equals. At loaded underscore scripts equals. At loaded underscore files equals hashtag list of every file loaded since runtime. At loaded underscore apps equals hashtag list of uploads on system hashtag revise these two. This is shit code right here. At loaded underscore classes equals hashtag at classes is the name of the variable we actually use. At loaded underscore definitions equals. At loaded underscore apps equals. At required underscore files equals. If file.file, at configdir plus args 0.2 underscore s, and args.length 0. At config underscore override equals at configdir plus args 0.2 underscore s. Else. At config underscore override equals false. End. Hashtag this needs to move, fsys enforce needs to be figured out. Hashtag move bootlog from homedir into major bootlog. If file.exist, at homedir plus bootlog.log. F equals file.open, at homedir plus bootlog.log, r, log equals f.read, f.close. F equals file.open, at logdir plus bootlog.log, a, f.write, log, f.close. File.delete, at homedir plus bootlog.log. Else, self.errorlog, bootlog was missing for this boot. End. Self.writelog, Rubin.startup, hashtag system startup is initializing hashtag come back and rescue the fuck out of this code. Hashtag enforce default file system. Now we read from hidden internal to get default directories. This way installers can set that up along with default underscore packages. Begin. Dat equals eval, file.read, Rubin underscore core underscore file, dot split, hashtag h hashtag I hashtag d plus hashtag d hashtag e hashtag n hashtag I hashtag plus n hashtag t hashtag e hashtag plus hashtag r hashtag n hashtag w hashtag o hashtag r hashtag plus, hashtag d hashtag a hashtag s hashtag s hashtag h hashtag n hashtag dash 1. Dat equals dat 0. Dat each do f. Unless file.directory, at homedir plus f. dir.gator, at homedir plus f. Begin self.errorlog, system error, missing directory repaired, plus at homedir plus f.2 underscore s. Rescue. End. Rescue, self.errorlog, Rubin.startup, unable to verify quarters. End. Hashtag setup config data. At config underscore names equals load classes, auto start taps, required. System shell auto start, debug mode, demand delay, show log writes. Control netdir, load definition, evaluate file IO print. Ruby gems, auto scripts, shell sessions, load sister components. Startup shutdown scripts. At config underscore descriptions equals. At default underscore config equals true comma bundler slash inline, open URI, net slash http, file utils, win32 ol, fiddle slash import, win32 API true 10 false, true false win32 API comma true. At config equals at default underscore config. At loaded underscore config equals. Hashtag check for preconfig.cfg first and config.cfg if it doesn't exist, preconfig can be stacked by adding a number to its name. System.writelog Rubin.startup, looking for config. If at config underscore override, equals false. Self.load underscore config, at config underscore